All right, before we begin, I need you to stop what you're doing, take a seat, kind of relax a little bit, lower those shoulders, maybe give them a couple rolls, take a big deep breath. Okay, and hopefully we are now in a state of mind where we can talk about the Roman Burki rumors and the Roman Burki comments and what Lutz had to say about Roman Burki and everything dealing with the future of Roman Burki in St. Louis, which has been cast into some question after the past couple of days of rumors and press conferences. This is your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, and I'm here to tell you why maybe it's not such a bad thing after all. So this all started with Tom Bogert.
But then Tom Bogert's gonna ruin my day.
Yes, I know, Kavincho. He does that to us too here in St. Louis. But he drops this little nugget late in the week. St. Louis City receiving a bid from FC Copenhagen for star goalkeeper Roman Burki. Told that the bid has been rejected, but he notes that Burki is entering the final year of his contract. Yes, Roman Burki is out of contract after this season, and quite frankly, St. Louis, I understand that it might be hard to imagine a St. Louis City without Roman Burki between the posts. I mean, he's been a part of this club from day one. He was one of our first signings. He is the big star on the club. He is the face of the franchise. He had many great years in Borussia Dortmund, so he's a bit of a worldwide household name. We have a whole chant named after him. That chant helped make this channel literally Soccer Zombie. That's where that comes from, the chant that I created for Roman Burki. He is just interwoven into the fabric of St. Louis City at this point. But the rumors do kind of, open the door to the possibility that maybe Roman Burki moves on at some point. Maybe he goes back to Europe, or who knows? And FC Copenhagen's bid was a bit of a shot in the jaw for St. Louis fans that we weren't really expecting, I don't think. Copenhagen, first of all, they are a club that is always at or near the top of the Danish Superliga. They are always playing in Europe. If they're not, something has gone catastrophically wrong. It's an attractive club. Copenhagen's pretty. It is also a little bit north of Switzerland. So, for Burki, maybe it's not too unfamiliar for him. And when I say just a little north of Switzerland, I mean, it is literally one Germany away, from Switzerland. So, to kind of put that in perspective, it would be like someone from St. Louis, maybe finding a job in Green Bay, Wisconsin, just in terms of distance. But the good news was the bid was rejected, so we can all take a deep breath and realize that everything is going to be okay. Everything is fine. Oh, here's Manuel Veth to throw some cold water on this. So, Manuel Veth says that sources stressed to him that the offer by Copenhagen was verbal only and outright rejected. That's not the stressful part. This is. St. Louis City would only consider a written formal offer with a significant fee at this point. You mean to tell me that Lutz and company would actually entertain the thought of selling Roman Burki this year before the season starts with only Ben Lute and Christian Oliveras, as the deputies at this point? Could they even find a goalie at this late hour? Who knows? But it's got everyone aflutter, and Manuel Veth, his tweet there, did not really help things. But in comes Lutz Pfannenstiel to save the day. He was asked directly about the rumors, and he gave us what I think was a pretty direct response.
I can tell you that Roman Burki will start the season with us, and he will finish the season with us. So there is it doesn't matter, even if the Moon or Barcelona is interested in him, he will not leave St. Louis City this year, and he will stay with us.
First things first, it's good to know that Moon FC will not be putting in a bid for Roman Burki. Now, Burki is one of the best goalies on this planet. I think that is fair to say. I mean, when you consider all the goalies in all ranks of soccer, from your local CYC team or your local, semi-pro team, all the way up, I mean, it's fair to say that Roman Burki is probably a top 2 or 3% goalie in the world right now. I don't think that's really up for debate if you really expand your horizons and think about it. But he's not going to go out of this world to Moon FC. I mean, I don't know how good Roman Burki would be in near zero gravity. Maybe he finds that out someday, but it will not be this day. Also, I would really be curious, how you would even play soccer on the moon, physics, the whole zero gravity thing.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
But all jokes aside, Lutz really did seem to kind of put his foot down and state that Roman Burki isn't going anywhere. He is going to be the goalie for 2025.
And of course, then there is 26, 27, 28, and there's a future to talk about it as well. But that's something which we have to figure out with Roman and his agent, and there is talks. And Roman is our captain. He's the best goalkeeper in the league. He's a very important player for us, and of course, we're working hard to keep Roman here as long as possible. But right now, as I said, doesn't matter if it's Copenhagen or anybody else. I'm just reading as much as you do because for some reason I didn't receive anything. So I don't know. So Roman is here and Roman will stay here, simple as that.
Take a deep breath, relax, everything's gonna be okay. We can stop rationalizing and irrationalizing and coming up with all sorts of scenarios for life without Roman Burki in 2025.
But wait, there's more.
Roman Burki talks to the media after Lutz does. Points out, and I'll just read the quote here, "Obviously, I'm very happy here, but in soccer, you never know. And you have one career. You have to look at what's best for you, what's best for me. We'll definitely have talks, and we'll figure it out. I'm focused on St. Louis." So he talks a little bit about doing what's best for him, a bit disconcerting, but then he continues. "I have no idea about other offers. I mean, from my perspective, all I can do is play good, and obviously if you play good, if you bring a performance, there are maybe clubs interested, especially because in my case, I'm going into my last year, but I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm focused on St. Louis. I have one more year, and we're just waiting for St. Louis to do something," end quote. Okay, I was kind of calm until that last part there. It seems to suggest that Roman Burki might be ready to have those contract talks with St. Louis City. This would not be the first time that a player has had, negotiations out in the public like that. And I think this comment here, about, playing good, bringing in a performance, maybe clubs interested. This is why I don't think that St. Louis fans should be worried in 2025. 2025 is shaping up to be a very big year for St. Louis. This is kind of the sum of all the moves that Lutz has done over the past year to reshape the roster, add some quality on this roster. We got the new coach in, who's going to throw the kitchen sink with his tactics all year long. I'm really curious how that shakes out with the personnel that St. Louis has. Conrad Wallum, we didn't even talk about him in this video yet. You can learn more about him right up here over my left shoulder. He's quite an intriguing guy. Lutz did say that he should be at Coachella here in the next coming weeks, and we'll see how quickly he gets up to speed. But regardless, Roman Burki is going to be motivated this season to play his absolute best between the pipes, because he is going for that new contract, and he needs to show why he is worth whatever it is he is going to be asking from St. Louis. Now, does he get a raise? Does he get a decrease? Does he make the same amount of money? A lot of that depends on Roman Burki, quite frankly, and what he shows us this year. Burki is going to be making a case this year for a new contract, whether it's with St. Louis or with someone else. So he's going to absolutely ball out this year, I think, and that's only going to benefit St. Louis on the field. Here's another factor to consider here as well. What does Roman Burki want? He has come out and stated multiple times he likes it here in St. Louis. I've heard nothing to the contrary about that. I think he likes playing under, the setup that Lutz van der Stiel has with St. Louis City. I think he likes being the captain. I think he's the type of personality that likes being a little bossy, and being a leader and, being the guy that, people look up to. He likes commanding that back line, and he's a guy that, commands a lot of respect. And on a club like St. Louis, he can command that respect, and no one's going to doubt that. No one's going to push him. If he goes back to Dortmund, does he have that kind of pull? Probably not. If he goes to like a bigger European club, does he have that pull? Maybe not. So that's one thing to consider. He does have a significant other that lives in Chicago. That's another thing to consider as well. If he gets transferred to Copenhagen, let's just say St. Louis does sell him to Copenhagen, is she want to go to Copenhagen? I mean, she might. I mean, I don't know her. That's really dependent on them. But that is one of the things that could keep Burki in St. Louis. Guys, Burki's posturing. He's just posturing at this point, I think. If I had to guess, and now I'm not in his head. Burki. We can sing about it, but I'm not actually in his head. As he said, he just has one career, and you want to make the most out of that career. I don't think he's the type that would go to Saudi Arabia necessarily. I don't think he would do that. I hope I'm wrong on that because I want Roman Burki to end his career in St. Louis very selfishly. But at the same time, now that I think of it, if a Saudi club offered us like $50 million for Roman Burki, like, do we really say no to that? But then that leads into the next question here, and that is, okay, say Roman Burki goes out, say this is his final year in St. Louis. He rides off, goes back to Europe in 2026 and, plays for a Champions League club. Where does St. Louis go from here? That we can't really answer at this point because at no point in St. Louis City SC's existence have we been grooming anyone to be that heir apparent to Roman Burki. There's no one that you can look at throughout the club's history and say, that's the guy that's going to replace Burki. We don't have that guy, Ben Lunt. It's clear that, nice guy, by the way, and, he's pretty decent in his own right, but let's face it, he's the equivalent of a Major League Baseball backup catcher. He is steady, he is sturdy, he gets along with the starting catcher, starting goalie in this case, and he is from the brotherhood of backup goaltenders. Like, I think that is just what Ben Lunt is at this point. Now, if Burki gets hurt, I got to hit that a few times, but if Lunt has a step up, maybe he has a great year, maybe he earns himself a big contract and goes on. Great for him. But I think that's all he is at this point. Christian Olivares. I thought he had a very good year at City 2 last year, but he's going to be a little up and down, and he's had some critiques from observers that maybe he doesn't command a back line as well as Burki does. I mean, not many people do, but he could be better in that regard. This year might be a big year for him. Maybe he, plays well for City 2, or he gets a couple limited City spots, maybe in the Open Cup this year, and he impresses and he earns himself a contract somewhere. That'd be great. That's the system working as it's intended. But after Olivares, who do we have? Colin Welsh, the third-round pick from Western Michigan. I feel that he might have been drafted just for organizational depth. I don't think that they're expecting a superstar out of Colin Welsh. Nick Bishop was the backup last year for City 2, but he's going on to the University of Pittsburgh now, so he's not even in the organization right now. I don't really follow the academy that deeply. Someone did tell me that there was someone that has been getting U.S. youth national teams attentions. You can let me know in the comments who that is, or who you think that might be, or who you might think the next hot prospect is in the academy. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm drawing a blank right now. But the bottom line is that there is no obvious replacement for Roman Burki at this point, and it's way too late in this process to even think about finding a replacement for Roman Burki for this year. Now, beyond that, time will tell. But of course, a lot of that also depends on Roman Burki himself and how he does, and whether the club thinks that he is worth what he thinks that he is worth. That's the thing with soccer players, and very good soccer players, is that they're very proud, and it is, very hard to shake this belief that they are worth X and a club only thinks you're worth Y. I suspect that may be what happened with Jake Nerwinski as well. But anyway, this was just a stream of consciousness to talk about the Roman Burki situation and why I think we should be okay going forward, and I don't think we should panic quite yet. I think that I think in the end, Roman Burki will sign an extension. If I just had to, guess right now, I think he likes it here. I think he likes the setup here. His significant other is, just up I-55. I mean, compared to the Swiss Alps, I'm sure going through the, farmlands of Illinois is, probably easier, travel-wise. It's also, short flights away, and you can take Amtrak up there as well if you want. But I think it's going to be okay, guys. I appreciate you listening to this because I felt I needed to get this out there because I sense the nerves in the St. Louis fan base right now, and I just wanted to kind of get everyone breathing on the same page. And just a reminder that St. Louis City plays competitive soccer this month. 3 weeks. Actually, it'll be less than 3 weeks by the time this video comes out. Gosh, where does the time go? Of course, I really appreciate your support on this channel as always. If you enjoy this content, make sure to drop a like on it. It helps out the channel. Subscribe for more and drop a comment below on where you think Roman Burki is going to be in 2026 and beyond. And I want to thank you for the response to the last video that I did. I announced some new membership tiers to I funnel everything back into this channel, and it helps me get to places to cover for you so that you can enjoy and watch. I'm going to give a couple shout outs to some real legends here: Aaron Leak, JT Kirsting, David Cotton, Kane Viktorovich, Michael Miller, Brad Whiteside, and Jeremy Clements. You 7 were part of the supporter section, and you decided to upgrade to the Zombie Ultras $4.99 a month club. Thank you so much for that. That means everything. And I want to shout out Peter MacArthur and Chris Gebhardt from STLsoccernews.com for becoming new members of the Zombie Ultras. Really, guys, it means everything to me, and I really do appreciate that. I not just have your support, but I'm doing good enough content that you decide to support me on this venture. This is your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin here. And again, if you want to see where some of that money is going towards, here is my plans for 2025 this year in terms of travel and covering games for you. And also look back at what I did last year in 2024 and some of the games that I covered as well. It was a very good year, as Frank Sinatra said, but 2025, it's going to be better.